Looking for a guaranteed way to create content that resonates with your audience? Start a podcast. Interview your ideal clients and let them choose the topic of the interview. Because if your ideal clients care about the topic, there's a good chance the rest of your audience will care about it too. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to B2B Growth, a daily podcast for B2B leaders. We've interviewed names you've probably heard before, like Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek, but you've probably never heard from the majority of our guests. That's because the bulk of our interviews aren't with professional speakers and authors. Most of our guests are in the trenches leading sales and marketing teams. They're implementing strategy. They're experimenting with tactics. They're building the fastest growing B2B companies in the world. My name is James Carberry. I'm the founder of Sweetfish Media, a podcast agency for B2B brands, and I'm also one of the co-hosts of this show. When we're not interviewing sales and marketing leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of our own business. We'll share the ups and downs of our journey as we attempt to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show.
This is Andy Crestodina from Orbit Media Studios, and I'm your host for this episode of B2B Growth. My topic is content marketing. As always, I talk about content marketing. And this time, I want to go into some really interesting overlap between two super common and super powerful content marketing strategies. Those are influencer marketing and search engine optimization. These are both sort of obsessions of mine, and I'm fascinated by the connection between them. It makes perfect sense, actually, that search goes well with influencers because, after all, there's two main search ranking factors, authority and relevance. We can break that down a little bit. In other words, it's all about links and keywords. Another way to put it is off the site and on page. That's what SEO is all about. It's about having sufficient authority to be relevant for the phrase, to show up in search. That's about authority and credibility, link popularity, in backlinks, links from other websites, and relevance. You've got a page about that topic. I think of it this way. Some people you don't listen to because they're not credible. Other people you don't listen to because they don't talk. That's authority and relevance in a nutshell. So, authority. How do you get links from other websites? Why do people link to things? It's a super important question, and a lot of digital rests right on this point right here. Why does someone link to something? Remember, those links create ranking potential. Links to your site make you more authoritative. Any link to any page on your website makes your entire domain more authoritative and increases the chance that any URL on your entire domain will appear in a search result. So the reason people link to things can also be broken down into just two factors. One is you've got content worthy of being linked to. That's a key. Why would anyone link to you in the first place? It's because you've got something relevant, you've got something useful, you've got something important. Your site maybe has research. You're the primary source for a piece of information. Or it has practicality. You are a valuable piece of utility content. Or maybe there's a tool on your website. Or maybe there's some strong opinion. You triggered a conversation and people are talking about you on their websites. So that's half the battle. But the second half is where we get into the influencer piece, because you can't just have something that's worthy of being linked to. You have to make it visible to people who make links. In other words, you have to have relationships and visibility with content creators. And that's what influencer marketing is all about. Authority comes from two factors: quality content that's worthy of being linked to, and relationships with people who create content. Okay, now we're going to unpack that piece because we're really breaking it down, guys. We're going straight at it. Who creates content? People who create content create links. Links pass ranking potential. Ranking potential makes what URLs on your site worthy of being ranked. It's the 1% rule. 1%. 1% of people on the internet make the internet. They are the content creators. They make stuff. They are the bloggers, the editors, the journalists, the columnists, the podcasters, the event directors. They're the people who make the internet. Content creators are special. They are unique. We are unique. We are the ones who make content online and therefore make links and therefore pass authority and ranking potential. So, smart influencer marketing that has an SEO outcome isn't just about chasing Instagram celebrities. In fact, they don't help your search rankings at all because they just make content on a social network. Doesn't count. People who are famous on Facebook make content on a social network. Doesn't count. Famous YouTubers, viral videos, They're not linking to anything, right? They're just making content on other people's places. Brian Clark would call them digital sharecroppers. They're making content on other places, not on their own. It's not earned media per se, because they're just social media influencers, basically, right? So appearing in other people's content on other people's domains, in other words, blogger relations, in other words, digital PR, this is the flavor of influencer marketing that can drive those long-term, durable SEO benefits to you and your content, to your website and your rankings. So how did we make that practical? What do you take away? How do you finish listening to this podcast and know, I'm going to do X? Quite simply, I want you to use social media and think about it as not just a place to dump links online and try to get traffic from Twitter, but use social media as a place to network, to research and find and connect with and build relationships with, start conversations with that 1%. So as you're online, as you're using social, pay attention. Is this person a blogger or editor? If so, they are categorically different, and you should really think of them differently. And keep in mind that that person might be someone you want to collaborate with. Okay? So now we have them in mind. A good influencer marketer, and this is a skill now, by the way, they call it influencer relationship management. If you're serious about this, it might be time to put that in your LinkedIn skills. Influencer relationship management. Okay, well, if you're really good at this, what you're going to do is put them on a list and keep an eye on these people. You're going to have 20 or 50 of these people that you're constantly schmoozing a bit, making friends with a bit, connecting with. And now you're going to start becoming visible to them. You're going to start sharing their content. You're going to start liking their content. You're going to start sending them connection requests in LinkedIn. You're going to start building those little relationships, commenting on their stuff. If they're a podcaster, write a review. If they're an author, write an Amazon review. This is going to help you become visible to that person. And then, so we're going to start gradually. And then when the time is right, we're going to go boldly. Gradual, slowly, considerate, and then bold, because we're going to reach out one day. And this doesn't have to be a day far away. It could be next week. You're going to reach out and offer to collaborate with that person. And I'm not talking about paid influencer marketing. I'm not talking about writing a check. I'm talking about organic, collaborative content marketing. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to give what we want to get. We'd love to appear in their content. We'd love for them to link to us. And how's that going to happen? Because we're going to take that same mindset with people that we connect with. And we're never going to publish something without taking that opportunity to network with other people, other content creators in our own work. What I'm going to say is the most powerful takeaway that I've got for you today, and that is never write a piece of content without getting a contributor quote from another content creator to include in your work. Don't find something they wrote and copy and paste it in. Reach out to them during the creation process and ask them if they wouldn't mind contributing to your content. Now you're working together. Now they're expecting that to go live. Now they've invested in it, because an ally in creating content is an ally in promoting that content. So you're going to include people in your work, often through contributor quotes. That's an excellent way to begin. Another way, the roundup. Another way, the deep dive interview. These are 3 formats for collaborative content that are going to make you visible to other content creators. Great. Does it ultimately create search ranking potential for you? It does not. Not necessarily. It doesn't unless that person then someday reciprocates and links to your content. True story. SEMrush reaches out to me and asks me if I'd like to host a webinar for them. Sure, why not? Similar to me hosting this podcast. Great opportunity. Why would I miss the chance? They want to do a webinar on influencer marketing, and they give me a list of people that they'd like me to interview. Absolutely. Sounds like a lot of fun. So there's a name on the list that I didn't know yet, and I was excited to talk to him. I'd met him once before at a conference. Name's John Rampton. John's an influencer. John's a legitimate influencer. John's a hardcore columnist for several big publications with a big audience, like million plus followers across the networks. Big name. And we had this conversation, and I was interested in, how did he get here? What's his story? John, where did he come from? And at the end of the conversation, he said something that stuck in my mind, and I keep repeating it. It's really just about generosity and about taking that giving mindset. This is how indirectly it's going to lead to an SEO outcome for you. But what John said was, 1 in 10 people that you help will help you back. 1 in 100 people you help will turn into a financial relationship, an actual business lead or project. And 1 in 10,000 people you help will turn into a multi-million-dollar relationship. Okay, that is a great idea, and it's a karmic idea. And basically what John is saying is just help everybody you can, give what you want to get. If you want comments, leave comments for people. If you want LinkedIn recommendations, write LinkedIn recommendations for people. You want reviews, write reviews. And if you want links back to your content, link to other people's content. I finished writing an article earlier today. 4 people. I had found 4 experts. Another side benefit, by the way, of this tactic is that you are going to learn by reading your own blog. Wow. It's a great day. It's a great day when you learn by reading your own blog. Reaching out to experts puts new insights into your content and into your strategy in front of you, right? The act of creating this content is going to have higher value to you than it otherwise would have. And in the long run, yes, some of these people are going to mention you back. They're going to link back to you. And that's an organic approach, collaborative approach to influencer marketing, not just for social outcomes as a famous person sharing me on a social network, but I'm looking for digital PR. I'm looking for an SEO outcome. I'm looking for the much more durable benefit than of a like, which is a link. Get the idea. Now, we've got another minute here, so I do want to point out a direct line, not a dotted line, but a straight line between influencer marketing and the domain of the authority of your website as in influencer marketing and SEO outcomes. And that is the guest post. It's alive and well. It is as much fun as I've ever had in content marketing. It will make you a better writer because you're going to get to work with editors all over the place. But you're going to take that same approach where you find people online, you reach out to them gradually at first, build that relationship, and then boldly when you're ready to pitch something to them. Another point here, never send a cold email, please. No reason to ever send a cold email. If it was 1985 and you had 3 ways of reaching people, picking up the phone, sending a fax, or knocking on their door, I get it. You got to go very direct. But this is like 2019. You've got all kinds of different ways to reach people. You can interact with them on their content, on a bunch of different social networks. They may be active in apps. You can meet them at events. There's so many different ways that you can become slightly visible to someone. After you connect with someone on LinkedIn, if you want to say thank you or hello, an endorsement is something that triggers gratitude and is often well-deserved. You like their content, endorse them for something, right? Now, the pitch. The PR style pitch, the guest post pitch, because when you write for other websites, lots of good things happen. You become visible to a much larger audience. Celebrate, right? Great news. Your content's automatically promoted because it's in front of a new group of people. And that your article likely mentions something else that you've put on your own website, especially if you were listening in the top of the show when we said the most link-worthy content is that primary research that makes you the primary source. If you've got research on your own website, it's a great opportunity to do guest posting because it's very natural to link back to your own content. If your content has strong visual assets, like a diagram that explains a process, a flow chart, a chart, anything like that, there's another opportunity to link back to your own content. Include the image that is supportive of the point you're making in the guest post. And if 0 places in the editorial link back to your content, that's fine too, because almost without fail, there's going to be a link back to your site in the author box, the author bio at the bottom of the post that you wrote for that other website. It's almost expected. It's basically standard that anything that you write for another website will include that attribution, that byline that links back to you. So I just described PR. I just described modern day digital PR with a little bit of SEO focus. Another word for that? Influencer marketing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. What you eventually conclude is that everything in marketing, including your search rankings, comes back to people, comes back to relationships, comes back to being a good human, comes back to friends. I've got another term for influencer marketing when done at the highest level. Friendship. These are people you're hanging out with. Why would you want to do anything alone? It's boring. Why wouldn't you want to make friends with other experts online? Learn from them. Why wouldn't you want to hang out with people at events and hang out with people in the comments and hang out with people on, in social after you've started a party, after you've created some content, after you collaborated? Make things together with other people. Even if it had nothing to do with search or social, I would do it because it's just a better way to work. It's just more fun. It's more rewarding. And it's going to do great things for your career, your mindset, just for your day, for your happiness, for your search rankings, and for your life outcomes. I'm going big. It's going to be good for you in your life. So call it influencer marketing, call it SEO, but ultimately you're going to just help other people do what they're doing. Good things are going to come back to you. Wow, we really went big. That expanded. That topic just blew up on us. You see that? That was fun. Okay, thanks for joining us for this episode of B2B Growth. This was the content marketing episode. Again, I'm your host, Andy Crestodina from Orbit Media. And tune in next time. See you then. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
We totally get it. We publish a ton of content on this podcast, and it can be a lot to keep up with. That's why we've started the B2B Growth Big Three, a no-fluff email that boils down our 3 biggest takeaways from an entire week of episodes. Sign up today at sweetfishmedia.com/big3. That's sweetfishmedia.com/big3.